Children, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is air around us, and learning about air and its uses. We all know that all living things require air, but have you ever seen air? You might not have seen air, but surely you must have felt its presence in so many ways. You notice it when the leaves of the trees rustle or the clothes hanging on a clothesline sway. Pages of an open book begin fluttering when the fan is switched on. The moving air makes it possible for you to fly your kite. Sometimes during storms, the wind blows at a very high speed and it even uproot trees and blow off the rooftops. Have you seen a weather clock? It shows the direction in which the air is moving at that place. Next, let us perform an activity to prove air is present everywhere around us. First of all, take a bottle and place it in the container that has water inside it. And you will observe what will happen. Observe the bottle when we turned it upside down. The activity shows that air occupies space. It fills all the space in the bottle. It is present everywhere around us. Air has no color and one can see through it. It is transparent. Let's move on to the another topic. Our earth is surrounded by a thin layer of air. This thin layer extends up to many kilometers above the surface of the earth and is called atmosphere. Next, do you know that mountaineers carry oxygen cylinder with them while climbing high mountains because as they go high up in the mountains, the oxygen level in the air reduces. Look at all these pictures that are given here so that you can understand it better. Next is, what is air made up of? Air is a mixture of many gases. It's a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor and dust and smoke. Let us know about them one by one. Water vapor. We all know that air contains water vapor. Let us perform a small activity and see. Fill a glass with ice cold water. Droplet of water can be observed on the outer surface of the glass after some times. You can see it here in this video. This thing can you observe? It's a water present in the air. Air has water vapor. When it comes in contact with a cold surface, the water vapor condenses to form water. The process of water vapor in the air is important for the water cycle in the nature. Next is oxygen. Oxygen is essential for burning. Let us perform a small activity. This activity is fixed to small candle of same size in the middle of two hollow container. Look at here exactly like this way. Now what you will observe here? Fill the containers with some water. Light the candle and then cover each one of them with an inverted glass, one much taller than the other. Observe carefully what happens to the burning candles and the water level. Burning can occur only in the presence of oxygen. We see that one component of air is oxygen. Oxygen component inside each glass is our experiment is limited. When most of this oxygen is used up by the burning candles, it can no longer burn and blows out. Also, some of the space occupied by the oxygen inside the glass becomes empty and the water rises up to fill or occupy this place. The remaining air inside the glass contains some components of nitrogen which does not support burning. Next is carbon dioxide. In a closed room, there is some material that is burning. We feel suffocated. This is due to the excess of carbon dioxide that is accumulated in the room as the burning continues. These are the carbon dioxide particles that are present inside the room when something is burning. As we all know, plants and animals consume oxygen for respiration and produce carbon dioxide. Plant and animals matter on burning also consume oxygen and produces mainly carbon dioxide, a few other gases also. Next is what is dust and smoke. The burning of fuel also produces smoke. Smoke contains a few gases and fine dust particles and is often harmful. This is why you see long chimneys in factories. Look at this picture carefully. Few gases, dust particle and smoke are coming out from the fire. Now the factory chimney that takes the harmful smoke and gases away from our noses but brings it closer to the birds flying up in the sky. Dust particles are always present in the air. Remember that. Let's perform an activity to understand another phenomena. The activity is find a sunny room in your school or in your home. Close all the door and the window with curtains. Pull down to make the room dark. Now open the door or a window facing the sun just a little in such a way that it allows sunlight to enter the room only through a slit. Look carefully at the incoming beam of sunlight. What you can observe? Some dust particles, isn't? So, we can conclude air contains mostly nitrogen, oxygen. In fact, these two gases together make up to 99% of the air. Remaining 1% is constituted by carbon dioxide and few other gases, water vapor and dust particles. Now, let's move on to the another topic, that is how does oxygen become available to animals and plants living in water and soil. Let us perform a small activity. In this activity, we are going to take some water in a vessel and heat it slowly on a tripod stand. Well before the water begins to boil, let us carefully observe the inner surface of the vessel. We see tiny bubbles inside. These bubbles come from the air dissolved in water. When we heat the water, to begin with, the air dissolved in it escapes. As we continue heating, the water itself turns into vapor and finally begins to boil. We have learned that the animals living in water use this dissolved oxygen in the water. And the organisms that live in the soil also need oxygen to respire. Let us see how they get the air they need for respiration with the help of a small activity. Now, take a lump of dry soil in a beaker, add water to it and note what happened. When the water is poured on the lump of soil, it displaces the air, which is seen in the form of bubble. You can observe it in the video. A lot of burrows and holes are formed in deep soil by the animals living in the soil. These burrows also make spaces available for air to move in and out of the soil. However, when it rains heavily, water fills up the spaces occupied by the air in the soil. In this situation, animals living in the soil have to come out for respiration. Let us learn about another thing, that is, how is the oxygen in the atmosphere replaced? Photosynthesis plays important role in replacing oxygen in the atmosphere. You can see it here in the video. In this process, plants make their own food and oxygen is produced along with it. Plants also consume oxygen for respiration, but they produce more of it than they consume. That is why we say plants produce oxygen. Plants and animals depend on each other for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide from air. We can see that both need each other as the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is thus maintained. This shows the independence of plant and animals. A windmill. The wind makes a windmill rotate. The windmill is used to draw water from tube wells and run flour mill. Windmills are also used to generate electricity as well. Air also helps in the movement of sailing yachts, gliders, parachute and aeroplanes. Birds, bats and insects can fly due to the presence of air. Air also helps in the dispersal of seed and pollen of flowers of several plants. Air plays an important role in maintaining the water cycle as well. So you can understand that air is helping in so many ways, and it's very important for all the living being. Without air, we cannot even imagine our life. So, air is an essential component for us. That's all for this lesson. Keep atmosphere clean and green.